So this is the Glassmorphism design. We do have like 4 cards right here. And if you hover on them, you're going to see how they are actually animating, and we do have some icons attached to them. But this is not just the only thing that we want to do in this video. So we do have a toggle right here that if I hit on, I'm going to just basically change the background right here. So I want to change this to dark. You see that the background changes. If you hit on that again, it brings you back to this particular interface. That's just basically what I want us to implement in this video, and you're going to see how simple that is. So without wasting more time, let's get started. So I want to open this folder up within my Visual Studio Code. It's completely empty. So let's open that up with our Visual Studio Code, and that's just basically where we're going to start writing our code. So let's create our first file in here, which is basically going to be the index. You want to go ahead and do that right here, .html, and I want to bring in our HTML boilerplate. So if I hit exclamation then tab, it's going to bring this. So let's change this to glass, and that's just the title in there. So within our body part right here, I want to go ahead and then let me create a div and give that a class of container. So let's call that container, and let's close out the div right here. So this is going to be, and then within this div right here, I want to create another div. So let's call that, this is going to be, I'm going to give that a class, and I'm going to just call that, basically I'm going to call that something like team toggle, and we can go ahead and then close that out. So let's make sure that this is actually closed right here. And then within this place, we want to go ahead and then create this particular section right here. This particular section, we want to create that. All right, so to do that is very simple. We can get in here, and I'm going to first of all create an input, and I'm going to just call that the type is actually going to be set to checkbox. So we do have a checkbox in there, and then we can just give this an ID, and I'm going to just basically call it something like toggle. All right, so I'm going to call that toggle, and that is just that. So the next thing I want to create right here is just basically create a label. So this is going to be label. We have a label right here, and I'm going to just do 4 attributes in here, and we're going to just basically call that toggle, and then we can give that a class of something like, let's say this is going to be toggle class right here, or toggle label. So I'm going to just call that toggle. We're basically going to have a few things inside of this particular label right here, and the first one is actually going to be font on some icon. All right, so before we do this, first of all, I just basically want to copy the icons and then put that right here, but we are not actually going to see it yet because we haven't actually connected to font also. But let me just get the code and then display it. First of all, I want you to just take a look at that. So if you tap this a little bit over, you see that I just brought in the sun right here, and the moon, and then the toggle ball that you just saw right here. So I'm just referring to these things that we kind of have in here. All right, so now that we have those, the next thing I want to do is to just basically bring in my photo or so, because if we save this right here, if I save this and then we'll try to open this up in our browsers, so I'm going to just go ahead and then open this up. You're going to see that we do not actually have anything yet on this particular place. All right, but we're going to look for a way to bring that out. And the first thing we want to do is to just try to connect to the font also. And to do that, we do have, I hope I opened that up right here, so you can just go ahead and make sure that you copy this. All right, so you want to copy this. This is going to be in the description box, or you can just go to this particular URL right here and then get that. All right, so I get that copied, and if I go in here, what I want to do is just basically try to stick that right here. So I'm going to put that not this way anyway. So what I'm going to do is to just say, I'm going to just do link, and I'm going to just do rel, and then let's go ahead and then go ahead and then set that to what you just copied to the clipboard. So I'm going to just go ahead and paste that right here, and you can go ahead and then close this right here, just like that. All right, so with that, if we now go back in here and then refresh, you should be able to see something showing up right here. So this is the 3 icons, the 2 icons I just talked about. All right, so with this you can actually get that. So we're going to style the box at a later time. All right, but I just basically want you guys to like see these 2 icons right here, which is just basically what we have on this particular place. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to create a container for these boxes right here, and if you want to do that, we can just basically go just right after this. We're just basically going to have one div left out right here, just as it serves as the container right here. But down in here, I'm going to just do this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do the IV, and I'm going to give that a class, and the class is actually going to be called as something like dashboard. So let's call that dash, and we want to go ahead and then close that dashboard. And then within this particular dashboard, we're going to create a couple of boxes in here. So the first one is actually I'm going to just do div. I'm going to give this a class, and we're going to just basically call that card, and we can close the card in here. So this is going to be div, but within this place, this particular card right here, we want to go ahead and create the box, the content itself. All right, so which I'm just basically going to still put in a div. So this is going to be div. It's going to have a class that we're going to basically go ahead and then set that to something like this is not going to be a card. We already have a card. I think this should be card dash icon, and let's go ahead and close this down here, div. And what you basically want to bring in here are the icons for that of the sun right here, just basically referring to this first thing that we do have in here. So if we go back to this, please want to bring in this icon before we bring in the text. So to do that, we can just do that right here. So this one is actually going to, I'm going to just do I, and we're going to just do class, and the class that we can actually use from that of the font icon is actually called a FAS like that, and we're going to just do FA, and we're going to just do dash cloud to bring in the cloud, what is it called? The cloud icon, all right, dash sun like that to be able to bring that, all right? So we can go ahead and then close the icon here. What we want to do on the next line is to bring in the weather. So this is going to be H3. We're going to use H3 right here, and I'm going to just do weather just to bring in the text that way. And if we do that right there, let's go ahead and close this. And then finally, we need a p tag, and that's just basically going to be 24 degrees Celsius, right? So let's go ahead and close the p tag in here. So to basically get this degree icon right here, which is basically on this particular place, I want to get the degree. So if you want to get it, I know it's typically not found within our keyboard right here, but some of you may have it. So if you have that, you can do that. But for me to be able to type this, there are a couple of ways you can do this, but I'm just basically going to hold my Alt key, and I'm going to just press 0176 on my keyboard right here, and it's just basically going to make sure that it produces that for me. All right, so look at it right there, just produce that for me. So once you hold down your Alt key, you can press 0176. Make sure that your num lock is actually on before you do this. So even if you can't actually do this on your computer, you can just maybe browse this, copy and paste it right here. So it's not really something to worry about. And then after that, we can go ahead and then I want to create another div right here. So I'm going to just do div, and this is just basically going to have a class. And let's go ahead and then set the class to, this is going to be a glass effect. Call this glass dash effect, and let's go ahead and close the div right here. It's going to be div to close that out. All right, and that is just that. So what I want to do is that I want to copy this and then duplicate this a couple more times. All right, so let me do that right here. I'm going to paste this one, paste that again. So what I'm going to do is just take my time to modify what we have right here, so to represent this information that we're kind of having here. So the second one is wallet, and this one is music, and then this particular one is actually calendar. All right, so I'm going to do that and then come back to you guys. All right, so I've done that. I've added the wallet part of it right here, and this is for the next one, which is just basically music right there. Then I do have the last one in here, which is just basically for calendar right here. All right, so you just basically need to pause the video and then type this out. So if you save the changes in here, and I want to take a look at that in my browser, so let's go back to the browser, open this up, and then we'll refresh. You see that we do have those things coming in just one after the other, right? So I think it's now time for us to start working on the CSS. All right, but what I'm going to do first of all is I want to just basically create my CSS right here, which I'm just basically going to call style, and this is just going to be called this is style.css. Open that up, and I also want to create my JS file right here. So this is going to be, let's call that script.js, and make sure we open that up. I want to take a look at our CSS right here. All right, I want to go ahead and then paste a couple of lines in here. And the first one we'll have in here is just the Google font, right? So you just want to get the Google font because that's basically what I want to use. And then we do have our settings right here, general settings. I'm just setting the general margin to 0, the padding to 0, the box sizing to border box, and then the font family that I want to use is right here. And then I just want to add a little bit of a transition, and this is just the value of the transition that I'm just kind of adding right here. So if we save the changes in here, and then we'll refresh this, we wouldn't actually see the changes coming, and the reason for that is because we haven't actually connected it to our CSS. So if you want to connect your CSS, you want to do that from your HTML right here. So to do that, you can get down right here, and I'm going to just do a link to save the changes and then refresh right here. We're going to see that that is actually going to come in. See how that part is actually kind of a collapsing a little bit, right? Good. All right, so as far as the body section is actually concerned, let me paste the code down here. So I'm just basically going to use this particular background that we kind of go right here, and I'm setting the minimum height to 100 VH so that it can actually occupy that space as we just try to open that up. So there will be no scroll bars for us to be able to see all of the contents in the page. And then I'm displaying the content to flex, and then justifying the content to the center, and then aligning the items to the center of the web page, and setting the padding of 20 pixels. So let's save the changes in here, And then if we refresh in here, you see how that is actually coming in. So this is just the background that is kind of showing up right here. And again, if we want to, let's say for instance, we want to work on the body a little bit right here, we can actually do that. So I think this has taken a lot of time already. So I would like to upload this to something like a TikTok, but I do not actually have to upload anything more than 10 minutes to that of a TikTok. All right. So for that reason, I'm going to just stop the video right here. And then at a later time or in the part 2 of this video, we're going to just work on the CSS and after that work on the JavaScript. So I'm going to stop right here, guys. And feel free to like the video and be sure that you are following us so that you don't miss out on the next part of the tutorial right here. All right.